edition of Survive to Thrive. Today, we're going to go right at it again with a concept that is really kind of hard to perceive. And I'm going to challenge you in some of your beliefs. I'm going to challenge you in your actions throughout your day. I'm going to challenge you in your attachments. And that's primarily what we're going to talk about today. Do you ever have a friend or a family member that come with attachments? When they ask you something, it's always like, you're always like, something's attached to this. Or if you've had somebody that comes with, conditional love or a conditional friend, we've all been there. And it's one of those things that we despise, because it's like, yeah, they're a friend or a good family person, but if I didn't do all these things for them, they probably wouldn't be around. And it's a really good question to ask. It's a really, really good question to ask, because a lot of times those are the actions that we take in the spiritual realm, and it's the actions that we take in with our own bodies, with our own relationships. And so even though you may feel that way and you may see that way, oftentimes these are just reflections for you. And the concept today is to question your attachments to everything. Now, as you know, I've talked about this quite often. It comes back to in your body, in your what we would call your balance with your family, meaning your relationships with your significant other, your kids, other important people in your life. It comes down to your purpose, your being, your spiritual connection. It comes down to your workplace, your bank account, your business, whatever that looks like for you. And so today we're going to talk about your attachments, okay? And we're going to actually spread this across. So I was reading the Bhagavad Gita, which is basically a story in Indian, Eastern Indian, I guess if you would, you can even say that it would be, it is. It's part of the Hindu religion where they came from. And this is obviously going to challenge a lot of you. It even challenges me to look at something different than what I grew up with. And by looking at something different than what I grew up with, it challenges my mindset, it challenges what I may have learned, which is good for me. And it should be good for you too, to challenge, to question everything. But Arjuna, in his questioning, he's going into battle, quick story, but he's going into battle, and he questions basically what he's doing. And a lot of it has to do with his attachments to the end result. And I will let you seek that out yourself if you want to. It's an incredible spiritual journey. A lot of times I was told growing up that, that was yucky stuff. I think all I remember is that Hindus, they held cows as gods. And so I was like, well, that's not good. You can't idol a cow. So that's nothing I would ever read into. However, there's a lot more to that. And I've learned over the years that they actually see a cow as a viable creature from God, as it would be a lion, as it would be a human, that there is a purpose and there is a being in every single one of those. So it's not so much the latter part. Oh, I digress. But there is purpose to this. And so Arjuna is sitting on the battlefield, actually asking Krishna, what he should do. And Krishna is basically God, and God is actually fulfilling his questioning. And it comes down to a lot of different aspects of this, and you've got to go down this journey if you've never read this, but it comes down to the attachments and the end result, and trying to control the end result. How many are guilty of this? Meaning that we are willing to engage in a relationship if the end result serves us. We're willing to actually shake hands with a business, like I want this, as long as it serves us, meaning that if we spend money, we get value back or we get a product back. We are willing to engage our bodies in physical abuse. We're willing to engage our bodies in exercise, physical stress on our body, as long as you fill in the blanks, as long as I get some sort of return. And that return is what? I got big biceps. I get I get healthier, I'm able to do the activities, that's fine. But we have these attachments in this world of the senses. And Arjuna is actually talking about how his attachment to the senses, and Krishna is basically saying the attachment in the senses will fulfill you in this physical world. But it is of the simple mind. It is the simple mind to seek and desire the results that fulfill the senses. And the senses are what? What we know to be true today in this world. The senses are like our sight, our taste, our hearing, our feeling. All of these things are our senses. And the simple mind seeks to actually enlighten or actually fulfill these senses. And what Arjuna is learning, as Krishna is actually telling him, is the concept of like, stop being attached to fulfilling these senses, or stop being attached to the end result, for that you have never had control over that anyways. And so as Arjuna is looking at going into battle and actually killing some of the people that he revered, meaning people that he had learned from, and people that were held as just precious people of wisdom and had brought a lot to the life, then he's faced with having to actually take their lives. The concept was that he could neither take their lives or give them life. And so this comes back simply to you on what are you attaching to an end result that adds nothing but stress in your world. Like the end result was, in 90 days, I'm going to actually have a body that's, it's this, it's rock solid, I got this. You have this image. And everything you do is actually attached to that end result, to a point that when that end result does not show up in the vision that you had in your head, you attach nothing but stress to it. It is your relationship that you dreamed it was going to be this way. We dream that it's going to be this way. And everything that we do has an attachment at the end. Meaning I bring home roses. Men, we've done it before. We bring home roses, what? To make the life a little bit better at home. But there is an attachment that we are seeking at the end of that. Men, you know what it is. All right? And so if we're seeking that attachment, that end product, then the roses start to what? They wither and die. And so does your attachments at the end, because it comes with what? Expectations, and those expectations at the end of this. I'm doing this to get to here. And it is very manipulative. And we all do it. We all do it. How many of you pray to God or pray to something, or, everything out there is what? With an attachment. I will do anything to get the new iPhone. You pray for the new iPhone. If I could only just have the iPhone, I will do, and you fill in the blanks. And so we have an attachment in that relationship with God. We get taught that. If you do the right works, you will be blessed. So we work to get the blessing. So the attachment, we don't really work. We don't really go into work because we enjoy working. We go into work to get the end result, which is one of the most skewed things that you could ever do in life. Think about that. We go into relationships to serve our own needs versus going into the process of being in a relationship. And this does come back full circle to the concept of the do, be, have, or be, do, have, or any combination of that in the aspects of, if you can be first, everything else will follow. Think about this for a second. Comb through your life and ask the question in every aspect that what you do, are you attached to the end result? Meaning, I need something at the end of this. Because here is the damning part of all of that. The damning part is, if you are attached to the end result, you miss the process. You 100% miss being in this world. You 100% never enjoy the journey. You 100% miss the moments. You 100% used your time focused on the future, focused on that end result, of where you could be and where you're going without even stepping aside and seeing where you're at right now. That whole concept, and you can trivialize it in so many different ways with so many different quotes of stop and see the roses or smell the roses. Enjoy the process. However you want to say and actually bundle it up that makes some sense to you. But I'm telling you today, if you actually are keyed up on the end result in your body of being to this point, and you will not be happy until you get to that point, versus being happy in the process of like feeling the burn, feeling your body change, feeling the energy of that day, feeling the hormonal rush that you get from exercise. In a relationship, being present, truly listening to words and seeing people, seeing what they are talking about, seeing it as they talk about it with passion, with tears, with excitement, truly hearing people and engaging versus actually listening to respond to get them to do something that you want them to do. To pray and meditate with no expected outcome, or to pray and meditate with, I've prayed so much that my cancer will be gone. I've prayed so much that it would have that windfall so we could pay our bills. I've prayed so much so that I may have that Porsche in my driveway so that I can be happy. Versus coming to the table, pure of heart, with no attachments, and just existing in the moment, existing in the day. To be versus to do. You have a choice on a daily basis, as always. But today's tip and the trick is to look at and examine your world where you are doing one thing without an attachment. You're doing one thing without an attachment. And I'd be hard-pressed, because I've been there, I'd be hard-pressed to think that you do much of anything without attachments. And so today's tip is to write down what you've been attaching to every aspect. I'm expecting work to fulfill me. Well, probably will never fulfill you until you fulfill yourself. And I had this attachment. And then we walk out of work, never being fulfilled because we were expecting something out of work that work can never give you. Same thing with a relationship. You're expecting something out of a relationship that the relationship can never give you until you let go of the attachments and see that it's probably already there. So the tip and the trick is to evaluate your world, in your body, in your spirituality, your being, in your relationships, in your bank account, business, workplace, whatever that looks like for you. And see where you're coming with heavy attachments. You're expecting the end result. And that end result, not getting there, is doing nothing more than creating stress that actually negatively impacts your life. It negatively impacts your health. And figuring out a way, moving forward, how you can let go of those attachments. Because when you come pure of heart, things start to happen. When you come pure of heart, letting go of attachments, relationships start to build. When you come pure of heart, you start to hear in your meditation, you start to connect in your spirituality. When you come pure of heart in your body, you enjoy the process, and all of a sudden your body starts to come into alignment. That's right. When you have more stress of where your body's not, cortisol goes up and you actually retain more fat. Hey, congratulations. Your attachment to the end result with your body is actually creating the opposite result that you desire. Letting go in your body might just get you into alignment with where you want to be. But you first need to be in the moment and enjoy where you're at. That is the tip and the trick today. In Love and Light, every day coming with new tips and tricks to move you out of just the life of surviving to the life up above. Enjoy peace and happiness of thriving. We'll talk to you tomorrow.